Hello everybody, and just thought I'd do a quick video. I say quick, just chat for as long as I can be bothered to. Amazingly, I'm not in a graveyard. I'm an area I've never ever been to. You mean a children's play area? Yep. I could make an inappropriate joke, but I don't want to get us banned, because there are some people that don't want to hear inappropriate jokes. But yeah, I discovered this area on a walk a few weeks back, and I'm like, I may check it out. It's not great, but literally just read on Twitter, thanks to FPL Focal and Davey FPL, that Rashford's back in training. So, in the words of Davey FPL, that is good. It does make less headaches. Obviously, we're going to want to hear more about what's going on. I said to my mate Dale, I said to him that I'm screwed for this double game week 7, double game week 37. It's really difficult for me to decide what I'm doing. Now, he did actually say which transfers I should do, and I went, yeah, I've kind of thought about doing those anyway. But you've got the likes of Delot, who will probably play one of the two. When I want a Manchester United defender that will play twice. You've then got Kevin De Bruyne, who will probably only play one of two, if you're that lucky. And obviously the Rashford news, that was playing on my mind until obviously about 10 minutes ago as of recording, which is about, I think it's about 11 o'clock now. The news came out, or what I saw the news of Marcus Rashford is now fit and ready. Or more specifically, he's back in training. So I'd like to think that that will be a sign for the good, that he's probably going to be playing at least some part in both games. I'd like to think he played both. So that's kind of like a transfer I don't need to do. But it was very interesting listening into... Jason's done 2 streams. He did the Liverpool game, where, surprise, surprise, the history came through again. And what's that history, Steve-O? Well, if anybody bothers listening in. So, the history suggested that it would be a home win. So we got it wrong then, Steve-O. But it also just suggested a team will score 3 goals. So that's now on 5 occasions, including a 3-3, where a team has scored 3 goals in the Liverpool versus Leicester game. And that's the first time in now 7 games a team has won away from home. So the last 6 to that game, Liverpool had won 4 at home, Leicester had won 2 at home. But watching that game the other day, Jesus Christ, Leicester were atrocious. How that didn't end 4 or 5-0. I'm not going to lie, I did think that Gakpo would be getting something. There was 2 opportunities, but there was one main one where I'm like, yeah, he's scoring. He's scoring. And Iverson saved it. Admittedly, it was a point-blank shot, but it's really frustrating because I had a couple of fantasy bets on Gakpo, because like I say, I always bet against what Jason's done, or bet on what Jason's done, as well as the popular picks. Went with Trent Alexander-Arnold, score or assist anytime. That got me a 70p profit. In fact, the other day, talking about bets, the other day, all I needed was, bearing in mind Southampton needed to win the other day, and they couldn't even score. All I needed was for them to score, and I would have won £7. So I would have made a £6.50 profit. No, in fact, stuff that. I would have, because the bet was £7.66 back, so I would have won a £7.16p profit. And I know people scuff at it. Like, I always get the time, that's nothing. Yeah, but I'm only putting 50p down. I'm not willing to put 10 quid down or whatever, because in reality, like I said, £10 worth of bets equates to 20 bets. Well, I can't afford to do £20 worth of £10 bets, can I? Unless someone wants to donate to the channel regularly, £1,000 a month. Hey, Arbor Boy? But yeah, the Liverpool game was quite worrying because I did have Gakpo to score anytime, assist anytime, nothing. Gakpo to score, Liverpool to win, nothing. The big one that I was hoping to potentially come through because of the history, Jamie Vardy to score and Leicester to win. That was 11-1. 11-1. And considering Liverpool's home form and away form, but Leicester's home form has been terrible this year, and Liverpool's away form's been terrible, but Liverpool at the moment are on fire. And certainly what I find interesting, actually, talking of teams on fire, is the fact that we're all looking at double game week 37. Brighton, Man City, Man United and Chelsea. No one gives two hoots about Chelsea, quite rightly so. So no one's even looking into their assets. Man United is the usual three. Fernandes, Rashford, Shaw. A few mentions of Anthony I heard from Jason. He's got Garnacho, and you just know through Jason's, like, I still can't. If anybody looks at Garnacho this year, just literally based on the FPL site and just look at his history this year, he's basically played barely any minutes. In fact, I think it's the last 3 matches, he's had a combined amount of minutes of about 40, 50, 60 minutes combined. And yet the 1 week when people are getting bloody substitutes off the bench, he's getting that particular individual off the bench. Admittedly, it was 5 points, but it's still 5 points. The gap between me and Jason is gonna be down to after this midweek. Well, after the Newcastle game tomorrow, is gonna be probably 15 points, because he has his differential on me is Wilson. Whereas I've got Isaac captain, Willock, Steele. So I've got 3 differentials on him. But to be honest with you, if we're going by the history's expecting a low scoring draw. Realistically, from an FPL bias perspective, a 1-0 victory, Isaac scores the goal, would be perfect from my perspective, and like a Willock assist. But personally, I think the game's 0-0, 1-1, or 2-0 either way. 2-1 either way, something like that. 2 very good teams at the moment, both in form, and I think that it is going to be a case of each of them just cancelling each other out. I mean, despite the fact that Brighton put in a very good performance against Arsenal the other day, and it was an excellent performance, I just think they're absolutely knackered, and I think Newcastle could take advantage of it. I do expect Wilson to start. I do expect it's going to be exactly the same team that played the other day against whoever they were playing. It's completely gone off my mind now. But, Leeds, wasn't it? Yeah, I'd expect the same team to be that played against Leeds. There can't be many more changes. Maybe one change, but maybe Murphy coming in for Almiron instead. But barring that, it's going to be the same. Wilson and Isaac are definitely going to be starting. And yeah, I just hope that, from a selfish point of view, that my differentials come through, and I'm stating the bloody obvious, because these last several game weeks for me, I mean, like I say, I don't care for the overall rankings, but from a mini league rivalry, especially in the moderator league and the Torbay Elite League, which is the 2 that I personally take serious interest in, because they're the only 2 where I'm actually doing okay in. The moderator league is literally between 4 of us, between Harbour Boy at the top, Armand Dillon, myself, Blonde and Jason. I think it's like a spread of 20 points. That's it, 20 points. And obviously there's the individual battles between, I think there's 5 points as it stands right now. This is before substitutions and all this nonsense. There's like 4 or 5 points between the 3 of us, but of course Harbour Boy's got Estepinian coming off the bench. That's 17 points alone. That's before tomorrow's game. You've got bloody me with a whopping 2 points. Greenwood actually played a game. He played one half. So he doesn't even get 60 minutes worth of 2 points. And that's 1 point from him, 1 point from Gabriel. Whereas Jason's got 6 points coming off the bench. 5 from Garnacho. 1 from Ben White. So that's already cancelled me out, especially with the Haaland captaincy as well, because he captained Haaland. And I need Isaac to... So I need Isaac to minimum get me another attack in return. Minimum. To make sure that I'm keeping ahead of Jason. I mean, for obvious reasons, I'd love it if Isaac actually returned a double-digit haul. It won't be happening because, like I said, the game is going to be pretty tight down there, I expect. And, you know, the going back to these last few game weeks have been absolutely fascinating. And certainly the fact that I was top of the Torbay Elite for, the Moderator League for a day is a huge testament to me. But it kind of says a lot about the moderators, where their season's going, because the way I've somehow been, it was a minimum of 100 points behind Gary, for example, minimum of 100 points. And for me to be now, to overtake him to then go back down again, it's just insane. And yeah, these next few game weeks between the 5 of us is going to be absolutely fascinating. There's no way in hell I'm catching this. His name's Alex Loader. He's one of Dan's friends. He's a FPL addict. I don't know him. He's from Bournemouth. I don't know him, but he's miles clear of me now. He's like, because of that Trent Alexander-Arnold goal, so the 13 points, that's basically won him the Torbay Elite, because there is no way in hell I'm catching him. His team is relatively similar to mine, plus he's got some really nice differentials. For instance, Mahrez is bloody one of them. So, and the fact that some of my differentials, i.e. the likes of Delot not playing, and they went and got the clean sheet, as I always say, you know, when it comes to any time I've got double defence, for logical reasons. When they actually play, they don't get a clean sheet. And then when they actually get a clean sheet, one of them's benched. Cannot make it up. So it's things like that have not gone my way. I said to Dale on a voice message, this is going to be the story of my season. Those 2 missed penalties over the same weekend? It was, wasn't it? Salah missing his penalty, Tony missing his penalty. That's 19 points. That's 19 points lost. Which would mean that things like that, essentially, those 19 points mean that I'm not necessarily comfortable at the top of the Moderator League, but it means that I would be definitely at the top of the Moderator League. You know, things like players being on the subs bench or whatever, all right, I can just about take that, but the missed penalties and that's really hard, because, you know, you take the likes of Tony as an example, and he never misses penalties. Then the one time I've got him as a differential, he misses. Salah, another one, when at the time he was a bit of a differential, he misses a penalty. You know, and that's the moments when I get really, really fucked off at, as you can imagine. But certainly, you know, going on to Jason's stream yesterday, which was fantastic. I messaged him earlier on, and I said to him it was a really pleasant surprise. You streaming last night with Max, and yeah, I just put my bag on. I didn't realise I could. I did realise, because you'll see a few edits, but I can actually pause the video. So I'm just going to walk now. I'm just going to walk over there. Essentially a rugby pitch. Again, I've never been here before, so there's like an opening over there where I've never been here before, so it's all going to be new to me. But of course, the sun is now. Well, there's the sun there, but all the clouds coming over. Surprise, surprise. Just when I want to get a tan. Fuck's sake, it's always typical as well. Whenever it's a nice day, like yesterday, when I'm on break, later on in the evening. Oh, here we go, Mr. Reed, one for you. I'll do a Jeff Marshall in. Train going by. What's this got to do with fantasy? So, yeah, like yesterday, sunny all day. Second I decide, right, I'm going to go out, sit in the sun. Oh, all the cloud comes over. Right now, unbelievable. It's been sunny all morning. The second I'm actually out on a walk and whatnot. But yeah, I was saying to Jason earlier on that the stream that he did with Max last night was fantastic. He did it, he recorded it at midnight. I said to him, the sound quality is just insane. It really is a high-end, top-notch kit, and I love the new innovative thing that he's done with the camera. I think that's fucking gold, in my opinion. It just added something, because I was watching it on well, I say watching it, I watched the first 5 or 10 minutes on the TV, and when he did that switch from his face on camera to the one behind, oh, that was brilliant. That was really, really cool. But no, I really enjoyed it. The AI chat was yeah, the AI genuinely fascinating. I did put a jokey message in the comments to say, what's this got to do with fantasy football? But no, it was a really, really interesting stream, basically. I really enjoyed it. And talking of Max, obviously he mentioned about coming on the stream for the final day of the season. Again, I'll make this point that I have put out an open, well, me and Jason have put out an open invitation to start with the moderators to come live on air that day, and then we're throwing it out to the members. So then members will, so once we get the numbers from the moderators who can join us on the final day, then we're throwing it out to the members who can join, and then if we still can't get enough numbers, then we'll be throwing it out to you guys. It'll be there. Throwing it out to you guys, the general, the FPL general. There was a very interesting conversation in the members chat, earlier on about Patreons and memberships and stuff. And yeah, I'm gutted I can't do any members videos, because I would have done my usual thing of delving deep into the conversation and discussing the Patreon system and what amount of money various people are probably intaking and all this. And it was just a really interesting conversation between myself. I say a conversation, a typed statements from Harbour Boy, Gabriel Derop Blonde, and myself just chipping in, because that's what I like doing. I like the one thing I like about the members. I always say this to the members: look, whatever topics you want me to cover, I'll just fucking chat about it. I don't care. This is what you're paying for. $1.99 if you want to become a member and support the channel. But certainly, you know, the discussion of Patreon was very interesting, and General's name was brought up along with several others as well. Very, very interesting. But yeah, the point being is that on the final day of the season, we'll be having lots of people on the Discord reacting to the games and everything, and certainly it would be absolutely fascinating. It really would be, in the words of Sybil Faulty, it really would be fascinating if in the moderator league, where it came down to it literally comes down to the final day of the season. Also with the Rivals League, I know that's very, very tight. I know the YouTube chat league is very, very tight. Like literally we're talking just minuscule points in these leagues. And it really could come down to the final day of the season where the guys at the top are literally, you know, needing that one differential to win. And do you know what? I'm going to put it out there now. I fucking hope that the likes of John Harris, Sultan Saeed, FPL Maestro, Seb Long, I really do, Matthew Zaishi, you know, I'm really winnerish. But I'm really hoping that they just think, fuck it, let's go with that one differential that will take me. Now, obviously, I apologise, I forget who, I'm sure it's Seb Long, top of the YouTube chat league, but you've got Marius as well. I really do hope that they go for it on the final day. Just go hell for leather, just think, fuck it. Who's that one differential that will win the YouTube chat league? What's that one differential that will help me win the Rivals League? That's the key ones that I want to know about. Because I think that from my... Here we are, Mr. Reed is the train again. We'll just get a shot of that. This is one for Jeff Marshall fans, even though me and Mr. Reed are the only two people that know who that is. That's going down to Paddington. But certainly, you know, going back to the final few game weeks of the season, it's really gotten tight across all the mini leagues, and certainly I'm just looking forward to covering it, because that's what I was going to say. I think that on the final day of the season, so I know for fact that I'm working that day. So kickoffs at what, 4:30. The deadline will be at 3. I finish work at 1. So basically, I'm going to say to Jason that we should do a deadline stream that day, and I think potentially we could be doing an all-dayer stream. Again, I'm just saying this literally live as I'm talking. I would need to discuss this with Jason, because obviously he's got a family and everything, and we don't know what his plans are. But certainly, wouldn't that be amazing? A deadline stream, finding out what everybody's doing, and yeah, just going into the final games where see where the leagues are, because it is. I can't get my head around, number one, that we've been promoted back to the Premier League. It just, even though we've only been out of it for one season, but we're a completely different team now. Like before, underneath Dyche, yeah, when we were promoted in the Premier League the first time, yeah, it was great. But then when you're in the Premier League and you just every single season, it's just the same. 1-8, drawn 10, lost 20, or whatever it is. It gets really, really boring. And it was just the same every single season. It was just getting to the point where I'm just like, I literally do not care about, you know, where we're going to go, because the reality of the situation is that it's just the same thing week in, week out. Whereas this year, under Company, I mean, in the words of Booker T, oh my goodness, it is a completely different kettle of fish. Like, we're a completely different team, you know. I know people are going to be like, so Steve, who do you recommend to bring in? I'm immediately jumping on Connor Roberts. Because guaranteed starter, first choice, because we don't know what's going on with Ian Mason, as an example. And I'll tell you another player that could be an absolute gem, but I really do not think he'll be classified as a defender. But if he's classified as defender, so he has played at right back, it's Vitinho. Vitinho could be an absolute gem, an OOP he could be absolute gold. He could be absolute gold, and for a luxury move, and again, I think he'll be 6.5, but Zerari could be another one who the problem with Zerari towards after the World Cup was due to fatigue and all that. He lost all form. I mean, he's still an incredible player, but he lost all the form. But he's someone as well. If our fixtures are good, I think Zerari could be an incredible, brilliant punt. But again, 6.5, fit him in that squad. But we're not here to talk about next season, are we? But yeah, so number one, yeah, I can't believe it's Burnley in the Premier League. But number two, I can't believe we're already at the end of the season. It's just the fact that we've had so many double game weeks, and this double game week 37, it ends just a few days before the season finishes. And I will be doing I don't know when, because I've already said to Jason, look, I will be wanting to do the stream with you tomorrow evening, but it all depends on, because I'm doing it via phone. It's all going to be on my phone. So I do want to cover the game with Jason tomorrow evening. Then obviously we're going to have our score predictions and history. And I am going to be looking at it closely, because I keep banging on about this, but over the past, 6, 7, when I've kind of really been looking at it, or taking note of it, the last 6, 7 game weeks, the history has done really well. And, again, it all depends on what statistic comes through that you kind of look at and go, right, I'm willing to take a punt on that. Let's just say, for argument's sake, if somebody went and decided to get Jamie Vardy because the history suggested a home win and the team's going to score 3, that was a punt, which is a very luxury move. But me looking at the history, I go, well, because it's how you interpret the history and how you apply it to current form. So for me, it's like, well, a team has scored 3 goals on 4 occasions across the last 7. Well, that tells me that the form team in this fixture, Liverpool, probably going to score 3 goals. So I'm going to want to back Liverpool in this case. And you've got, the other piece of history as well. Brighton beating Arsenal. That's now the 3rd match in a row that Brighton have beaten Arsenal. And I think that's the 3rd time Brighton has scored 3 goals against Arsenal. Now, obviously, we backed Brighton players, but the thing is that it depends on which Brighton player you had and who actually came through. And obviously, we know that it was Estepinian, Undav, and someone else who I've completely forgotten. Someone else who I've completely forgotten who it was. Oh, in Enciso, wasn't it? And didn't Max Roberts have him? Didn't Max have him? I'm sure he did. But yeah, the fact that the history came through for that is quite scary. So I'm certainly looking at the history for the next 2 game weeks, especially this double game week, because it may help me decide on which teams to target. Because for all I know, Man United's history against Chelsea could be, in fact, Chelsea's history could be really good. Like I said, I'm not going to do it, but Raheem Sterling. Sterling scored a couple of goals the other day. Is he now in form? Is he now a player in which, potentially for the next few game weeks we look at as a potential punt? I don't know, because they've now got Pochettino in charge. Here we go, Mr. Reed, Jeff Marshall fans. Oh, that is fantastic. Yeah, it's one of the freight trains. They're absolutely massive as well. There's one that goes up near Brentford. It's an overnight one. It is just ginormous. Oh, that's the end of it. Okay. Don't get that with Andy, do you? In fact, talking of Andy, I did a podcast, a wrestling podcast with a Rantermeister's Ben, and it was quite surreal really, because he looks exactly like Andy. It was really, really weird. He's got the same beard, same little beard. There's a niche quote for you. I like your little beard. Okay. Could you maybe wear some tighter trousers? Can I get back to you? Yeah, sure. But yeah, maybe Chelsea could be the team that we're all ignoring. Quite rightly so. Because I agree with Jason. I think they're going to get an absolute pummeling against, what do you call it? Man City. I expect that to be 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. And then obviously Man City win the title. Anyway, I'm waffling now. Myself and, well, certainly Jason, I'm assuming is definitely going to be streaming the game tomorrow. And certainly I am, as it stands right now, I am planning on joining Jason to cover the Brighton-Newcastle game. Then obviously, like I say, it's the Beak weekend. Now, I will be, I don't think I'm going to have a laptop. I'm not going to have a laptop for, I couldn't even tell you. I'll be ordering the battery, assuming it's the battery, today. However quick that comes along. But I will be doing the 3 PM kickoff. So even if it means doing it on the phone like we used to do a few years ago, where I would just be in my room streaming. I may even consider it's it's highly unlikely. I may even consider doing a live stream from the graveyard, listening into as the results come through, which would be insane. But that's highly unlikely. But certainly from my home, I will definitely be doing the 3 PM kickoffs for this Saturday. So yeah, these next few weeks, well, literally 2 weeks on Elite FPL is going to be massive. I'm glad that you guys are part of this journey. So on that note, comment below whatever. I don't even care. In fact, I'm going to bring this up actually. I will say this. So I was listening into ages ago. Oh yeah, ages ago. 1700s? Yeah. Just a guess? Yeah. I was listening into the Chatterbix podcast, which I think I either A, unsubscribed to, or B, they don't really do anything anymore. But anyway, and they had Sean Walsh on. And he made a really interesting point. I've never even thought about this until he made it. So Sean Walsh, for anyone who doesn't know, is a shit British comedian. I think he's terrible. Ironically, he frequents in my Tesco's though. I've seen him a couple of times. Yeah, you show shit, mate. Fans. Are you having a laugh? I tell you, mate, the public. Do you know, whenever I do these quotes, in fact, comment below, who actually understands these references that I'm doing? But yeah, he's a British comedian. He's absolutely garbage. But certainly, he was making a point that when he was on Strictly Come Dancing and all this furore kicked off about whatever it was about him having an affair, cheating on his girlfriend and stuff, he was saying how he was getting loads and loads of shit from the journalists, like they were treating him like he was the worst human being on the planet, okay? Fine. But he had loads of people private messaging him and saying, we support you, and he just made a point. Well, I thank you, but can you not say that publicly? And I make this point on here. It's like, I get quite a few people, not just on Elite FPL, but on Total Stevo. It's like, they'll say to me, oh, really good. Love your show, David. Love the show, Andy. I thank you, say it publicly. Like, we all know how social media works. If someone sees someone saying, oh, I really enjoyed that show, guess what? Most people then go, oh, well, if he liked it, I may check it out. But anyway, point being is that comment below your double game week 37 problems. I'm not going to fucking reply to any of it. But, yeah, let's just get out of here. See you later.